Do you remember Bastion? How about Transistor? What about Pyre? If these names bring about feelings of fondness in your soul and levity in your heart, then we're quite the same. And I haven't even played them all yet. But guess what? They were all developed by the same studio, Supergiant Games. They pumped out quality from day one, and in 2019 they made a game that shook up the indie scene crazy. Hades. I hope that those of us watching right now are familiar with that game because I think it's one of the best games ever made. Yeah, I'm being a little bit hyperbolic, but that's what I'm here for, right? So I'm just going to leap into the flames of the underworld a little bit to sketch an outline of this experience for you because if you hadn't played it before, I'm jealous. If I could wipe away my experience with Hades and do it all over again, I absolutely would, but I can't. So I must live vicariously through you, dear viewer, and we will have fun taking a journey down memory lane together for maybe 30 seconds or so. Or 2 minutes, I'm not quite sure yet. Hades is perfect. Hyperbole again, but let's just believe that for the sake of the argument here. It's fast, it's replayable, it's heartfelt, it's real. It's narrative driven. Its characters are honestly so well written that I can name some of my favorites off of the top of my head, and so well acted I could hear their voices inside of it loud and clear. And I haven't even played it since 2020. Maybe 2022. Every moment is exhilarating, every gameplay decision has intention behind it. Every moment of levity is punctuated by genuine emotion and honesty. I have no idea how they were able to pull it off, but they did, and it remains one of the best in its class. Everything was a roguelike back then, but I remember this one. Roguelikes. The hardest thing a game in that genre has to do is justify its existence. Why are we doomed to repeat the journey? How do we have access to so many tools? Where does our growth come from? Hades answers these questions and then some. I won't get into specifics here because this isn't a video about Hades 1, so please play it and you'll see what I mean. To sum up my thoughts on Hades though, it is an experience worth investing a lot of time into because it takes video games seriously, both as an art form and as something to have fun with, but not so seriously that its identity is confused. So Hades 2 has some lofty shoes to fill. And so far, I think it has. I actually think it's elevated the franchise to another level. And Supergiant's track record remains unscathed because Hades 2 is incredible. I didn't play it in early access. I wanted to give it some time to simmer. The first game was such an important moment that waiting just felt like the right course of action. I didn't want to poison the well. I didn't want a random bug to leave me frustrated. I didn't want the experience to feel good but incomplete. And waiting was a great call. Being able to play this game in its full 1.0 glory has let me connect with that version of me who was playing the OG 6 years ago. Man, what a time. So what do I want to dive into here? That's the $1 million question, huh? How about this? The game is still full of heart. A lot of it. So much so that talking to these beautiful characters is one of the game's true highlights. It's an amazing experience to be able to connect with so many different and unique individuals. Many are kind, some are a little more complicated, but they're all clearly important figures in Malinois's journey. And isn't that somewhat reminiscent of our own lives? These interactions offer important moments of reflection, a much needed reprieve. They build out Malinois's character, they contextualize the world, and they might even be a reflection of our own struggles, and isn't that beautiful? Because when a work of art is able to tap into our humanity so profoundly, then it's really doing something. And I think Hades 2 is really doing something. Okay, I got a little deep there, so let's take it somewhere else real quick. The gameplay demands some wild mental gymnastics, and I'm all here for it. It's a gauntlet of snap decisions. From the base upgrade system to insane maneuvers that would demand a certain level of attention to the ebbs and flows of the combat encounters. And trust me, there are a lot of ebbs and a lot of flows. But that's where the fun lies. I think that Hades 2's combat encounters are extremely well constructed. Crowd control is the name of the game, and Supergiant makes sure to give you the tools to manage that. So far, my bread and butter has been the cast. It's so flexible, so helpful, and consistently satisfying to employ, especially when you find the right build. But you really gotta consider the right time to put it down because these enemies move fast and hit hard. Cast, special attack, basic, dash. As the difficulty ramps up and as you descend deeper, the game never hesitates to ask, do you know what you're doing? And you better have an answer because this game gets kind of tough. Do you have what it takes? The game is demanding. In a fun way. In an exciting way. In an I kind of want to give up right now, but I know I can make it to the end next time kind of way. I think they really nailed the challenge that this game offers. It feels so balanced. Each enemy encounter felt earned. They felt satisfying to overcome because the game doesn't really hold your hand too much, especially in those opening hours. So you struggle a bit. You die a few times. You stress and get frustrated when a seemingly winnable run becomes a little more unlikely because you dropped your guard for an encounter. Sure, you might also find an overpowered build that trivializes enemies, burns through bosses, and accelerates your progress. But that's the beauty of it. Because you can just as easily run into a session that leaves you sweating the entire time because the game felt that it was time to test your skill. And what's more satisfying than sweating through a run and coming out on top? A run is yet to feel too easy. A win has yet to feel unearned. Hades 2 has found a balance, and I think it's incredible for it. Because when a game can instill that kind of confidence, bring about that sense of progress, then it's really doing something. And Hades 2 is doing something. So those are my thoughts on this game. Not only was I pleasantly surprised, but I absolutely was blown away by how they were able to build on the foundation that they laid down with Hades 1. It was already so good and they made it even better. Tight gameplay, great balance, and a meaningful story brought this game to the forefront for me, and I hope you can find the same appreciation for it. Yeah, I'm sure plenty of people are out there right now echoing the same sentence, and rightfully so, because Hades 2 is deserving of the praise. It's worthy of the hype. Anyway, I'd love to sit here and chat with you a little more about this, but I got a game I gotta get back to. Thanks for watching, I appreciate you sticking around, and I'll see you in the next episode.